God damn, it's hot! Thank you guys for coming to Stone Soup Poetry on this summer day of July 1st. All indicators say we're going to be celebrating the 250th anniversary, 250th birthday slash anniversary slash court date of America in sheer hell, which seems about right. Seems about right. As a matter of fact, some people are this close to calling off the events on Saturday because it's going to be too hot to simply exist. I hope you guys aren't amongst those people. I hope you're keeping cool as much as you can. And I'm looking forward to hearing you tonight. I'm looking forward for the rest of July. Next week I am off on the 8th, but we return on the 15th with Marianne Honecker, who is celebrating her newest book, and we're also welcoming back Stone Soup alum, Mr. Stone Soup alum, Mr. Mark Goldfinger. We have not. Oh, you already got your lament for 250 up, huh, John? Nice. I'll have to look at that. But we have Mark D. We have Mark D. Goldfinger. Mark Goldfinger is a local poetry legend. Not only not only a longtime poet, but also a recovering addict, and he writes about these experiences in his regular column for Spare Change News. He's been the poetry editor for Spare Change News for what has to be close to 30 years now. Put out the Spare Change anthology back in early 2010s and still continues to work today. He's also undergoing some health concerns, and I wanted to get him in here because out of all the alum we have for saved up or for Stone Soup and Zoom, he's one of the people I haven't gotten to yet. And for those of you who didn't notice, the poet and artist Dita Galloway passed away last Thursday.
Yeah, so sad.
It is a huge loss. And Dita, for those who don't know or don't remember, was the feature for the 50th anniversary of Stone Soup Poetry back on May 1st, 2021. Did a fantastic reading then and was always a great performer for the live open mic when it existed, which hopefully it'll exist again. We have the open mic to go through tonight. It's a 2-round round robin. And hopefully, I don't think anyone just dropped out now. Hopefully not. Let's get to the first of our performers tonight. Let's start out with Mr. Richard Spizak, sir.
Well, thank you so very much. I have a couple little pieces for you. Hopefully you'll find these amusing. This first one is a pain to science. It's called If Researchers Don't. If researchers don't share the dope with the viruses, this just plumb give up hope. If researchers can't take and share their notes, does that mean the fever is broke? If the virus doesn't get publicity, does that mean for us inoculation is no longer a necessity? If we go pulling a pillow over our collective heads, will it help us when we're dead? If we close all the funeral homes, does that mean that death himself will no more roam? If scientists allow big fools like these to remove the tools we need against disease, so then the scientists must be revolutionaries too. If any of us are to survive this corruptive, foolish, Trumptatious zoo, every and all the Trumpian denialism steers us dizzily toward the cliff of ignorosity and revivalism. Or may cooler heads yet prevail? Does the Secretary of Health wear or dine on his own tail? Must we resort to 17th century theories of humors? Are voodoo dolls next? Will they be used to remove the hex? But will it work on tumors? Or will we be bleeding? Is that what's next? Shall we just throw out science? Oh, what the heck? Sharing knowledge is the basis of science. Provable hypotheses are given us reliably provable science. It reduces catastrophe. But these fools that try to hide information, we know their game. They've never won, not in any nation. And then, thank you, my friends. Thank you so much. And then this one, I got some really sage advice from another Boston poetry group, and they said, Richard, you're funny and you rhyme, and oh my God, if you want to be famous, you shouldn't make funny poems. And I thanked them, and then I wrote this. It's called "He Lost His Morose He gave up the ghost. Well-intentioned, yet honest friends, I guess, hoped to coax him from out this mess. The constant wry, sarcastic humor steered him away from his great potential for, alas, success, if he could only just start lauding distress. A doleful childhood, estranged at birth, instead of all this loathsome clunking mirth. And merrymaking on top of that. How about you try to cry, or perhaps wear an undertaker's hat? Maybe a strange and melancholy, shiftless, blackened, stuffed stepping cat. Poe had his raven, that's for sure, parked there above his chamber door, on that bust of Pallas, maudlin sure, but think onst, maybe one of old Dick Yorick's skulls perhaps, or a heart a-thumping neath the wooden floorboard's mat. But irony, merry wit, where the brighter writer's market, first nighters Carolina to do with this goo? And your work not only rhymes, but it does so many times in one line. Such wit, you should immediately quit. Not the sort of stuff we favor. So what if it's Herculean are your labors? We cannot take you any more serious than your humor. Say like Jim Neighbors at the opera, labored unrequited. This you must know, despite how clearly it shows, even yet, you're somehow still delighted. You must muck about and moan and wail. That's the way that Ahab said we'll land the whale. And old Queequeg with his tattooed face, he knew exactly when he threw his bones, that heap of sorrow gained you space. And if you cannot skeer the editor, he'll never enlarge you and be your debtor. Instead, in the margins you'll be left ill better to the letter. You must give them sleepless nights, tell tall tales of ghosties. Get it right. No more these joyous chuckles of yours. Really, you must try to square them, freak them out. They're unprepared unless you sing a song of melancholy. Your skills, no doubt, you'll not worry. But tell tall tales of beatings that you once endured. And just how many countless nights brigands threaten you with swords. Hearty laughs? Leave them oddly puzzled, afeard that they check to see if it's your wine that you've guzzled. And as an optimist, my friend, the signs are weak. Canst thou not study how to scream, bitch, complain, and shriek? Far better wert thou a disgruntled fellow. That's the way you'll find thy success are doubled. The cacophonous riot of your rhymes, unfriend, are your lines so scant, no simple target to match the scholar's plan. They do not conform themselves by stately measure, and then your unconventional 3 rhymes per line doth mark itself an unwanted treasure. Quite outside the normal fickle-flavored, savored, mournful chime, canst thou not off in a darkened alley, canst thou thy hero self refine? And when I say a callow youth, then I did haunt the darkened stair, the stony cell, the hangman threadbare, uncarpeted and gravelled lair. But strike me then at 13 or thereabouts, all I'd seen through the mask of doom and doubt that thou might spend a lovely fortnight outside love's jurisdiction. There's the route, and that's no fiction, can leave no doubt. Would I not lonely, unrequited sojourner remain, if only I kept time with sadness, and thence a woeful cynic remain? Do not flowers bloom and flourish each and every spring, that thou mightst encourage? Even cynic drives his cart and clumsy wheel o'ertop the heart. Where blossoms there the softest petal, only to crush and break yon pretty young wing, thou, good sir, a grand mal mistake. Thank you, my friends.
Thank you, Mr. Spizak. And I'd like to bring up a past Stone Soup feature called Primordial Nina, also known as Nina La Negra. I am so glad she is here tonight. This is her first time back since the feature. I've been hoping she comes back, and she's here. Let's hear from her.
Oh my goodness, I have nothing. Maybe I can ask some questions instead. How's that?
Approved.
Sounds good.
How long has everybody been doing poetry?
This would be about 9, 10, 11. Gonna be my 39th year this year.
Wow.
64?
64
5
years
years.
since 1964.
64 years. Since I was 12.
53 years.
Oh, wow.
Get it
Wow.
right yet.
Bunch of old timers. Who else?
I've been involved with Stone Soup since 1975.
And were you doing poetry before Stone Soup?
I had started to write before that. Yeah.
Excellent. What about Jan?
I mainly journal I taught high school English, whatever, for about 12 years. So I'm not really a poet, I would say, but I journal and I write for 2 and a quarter writing groups. The Black Seed Writers are half homeless, and there's a church quarterly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I've been doing it about 35 years,
Wow.
maybe a little bit longer, but yeah, I've had a few timeouts, over time. Uh, and so, so still writing anyway.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Who else is here?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay. So, another question. What was the hardest thing for you to write about?
Mm.
Family politics.
Yeah, I'm still not writing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same here. Same here.
Oh,
I,
wow.
I was
I would
given
agree.
a,
The family thing is very difficult now, and personal relationships in general.
Mm,
So everything is so difficult, and it's so hard to even sometimes have a conversation with somebody who's just a stranger or whatever, much less to even be able to write about it because you never know where you're going to end up
mm. So,
these days.
anyone else?
I started to say I was given a prompt one time to write a poem about a purloined golden garlic bulb. And I thought that was preposterous. But the more I thought about it, I came up with a riff, and I was actually surprisingly happy with it.
Mm-hmm. So even though it was difficult, you liked the end result.
I like the challenge, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And since most folks said that family and relationships were hard to write about, what do you think would make it easier to write about those things?
To lie, write it as fiction.
Fearlessness.
What did you say? Is that John?
Fearlessness.
Fearlessness.
Right. The other thing you can do is wait until the family members you're going to write about are dead.
That's true. You can say anything you want with no.
Or they have Alzheimer's.
Oh yeah. Well, that's always fun.
Publishing anonymously.
Ah, yeah, that's true. Well, does anyone think that writing about something hard, truthfully, might be reward in itself?
Yeah, the best poems are the ones that you're afraid to even read. My God, should I even show that to anybody? That's usually the best stuff.
Mhm.
I heard that you're punished for doing that both when you're alive and when you're dead.
I want to hear the first-hand report from when you're dead, okay?
Italo Calvino makes an argument that when you're in a writer's block or you feel you can't write anything, then take some completely insignificant aspect of your life and write a poem about it, something that you would never intend to show to anyone. So I did the exercise and I wrote about taking out and sorting the recyclables because I thought, I couldn't think of a more mundane, simple, insignificant task. And I ended up being very happy with what happened. So it was a surprise.
You know, that sounds like a Robert Frost poem. I heard that before he wrote the poem The Woodpile, he was going to write one called The Recyclables, but instead went for The Woodpile.
Well, the recyclables are a weighty thing, even though seemingly insignificant, even if China won't take our recyclables anymore. How about anyone else? I think I'm almost out of time.
I just some difficult things I just write in journal. It just helps me to write about them.
Right, right.
Just for my, to write it out.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. How do you feel after you've written something in your journal?
Pretty, I feel like it's kind of gone. It's like put it over there. Okay. Get it out of here. More
Right.
room. More room.
Well, it's not ruminating around in your head anymore, right?
Right.
Yeah.
After I write in my journal,
Mhm.
I always have to pee.
What is the connection, dare I ask, doodle tuna casserole?
Just because I'm a man and a man always has to pee.
Yeah, I think women do too. But how about you, Mary?
Writing in a journal?
Well, I mean, writing something difficult, do you think it will?
Difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I sometimes I think I just have a one-track mind, but I'm trying to overcome that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, just so I can include myself in this little round robin, I find sometimes when I write something about something difficult, I actually solve a problem, not just get it out of my head, so I'm not going around in circles. And I didn't hear from Chad. We'll let you be the closing operator. But if I get it out of my head and not just go around in circles with it, and if I come back and read it later, it might give me a different perspective. So the thing that was challenging is not anymore. It's enlightening at that point. But how about you, Chad? Parental?
You mean in terms of how I write things that are difficult?
Yes.
Always the journal first, and the harder it is, or the less I want people to read it after I die, that's when I go to paper that I later recycle and shred. Sometimes the craziest stuff goes to loose leaf and not the journal.
Well, and everything isn't for public consumption. It's
Right.
we're kind of in a society where you burp and you want everyone to know. So it's like, no, I don't really want you to know it. This is for me. So, does anyone else write things just for themselves?
Well, I don't share all that I write.
Aha.
I pick and choose. There's pieces I've never shown, and there's pieces that I've written for a person that's intended for just that one person.
Good answer.
I have when the moon is really cool outside, I go to the beach and I scream out my curse list and my bless list.
Wow. That's informative. And what does doing that do for you?
It helps me stay regular.
Regular what?
Well, that since I started doing that, I don't have to have Metamucil anymore.
Okay. All right. So it's kind of getting the toxins out. Mary?
Yeah. I do write stuff that I keep to myself. Especially some nonsensical stuff. And I tend to think, you're either a poet or a stand-up comedian. I choose to be a poet, so
Yeah, we've had a lot of comedy tonight.
yeah.
And Jan and James,
Yeah.
No, what's the question?
there are a couple on the table. Do you write things that you only write for yourself?
Yep.
Do-
And he's written me some very beautiful things that I've saved over the years. Because we've been married 37 years.
That's a long
You know,
time.
what am I listening to me? It stacks up.
It does stack up.
There's a cartoon I saw recently with Mr. and Mrs. Shakespeare sitting at a dining room table. And she looks at him and says, "Oh, another sonnet."
Oh,
James, how about you?
Well, I make all kinds of notes and stuff.
oh.
And then sometimes they do end up being worked into something eventually. It's all kind of a process. So as I go around and do different activities and whatnot, I like to go to different kinds of meetings and stuff like that. And I often make notes of what people say and what happens and that kind of stuff. So I keep those kind of records.
He always records this, who's here. Plus, he has 75 years worth of journals.
Wow, got me
I'm not
beat.
75. I didn't.
Not 75.
Well, more like 52 or 3 or something like that.
That's a
So
good number.
52 or 53 years of journals is a lot.
It is
It's
a lot.
kind of amazing to go back and look in them sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I always think of Carol Weston. Carol Weston used to keep journals like that. She would make notes of everything because she really needed it because she could be very scattered consciousness. And that's kind of how she tried to make sense out of things in her life. But I always felt like she had a marvelous, marvelous actual poems in there.
Yeah.
She never could seem to see them as being that, but her notebooks were kind of an amazing thing.
But he also has like when his grandkids were little and they were drawing and just starting to write and stuff. I mean, we should have those marked. I mean, really.
Yep.
Yeah, so they become precious,
Yeah.
especially the older they get.
The older they get.
Yeah. And I have about over 50 years worth of journals.
See. Mhm.
So, and I've never gone back and read them. So I'm gonna be on a journey soon where I do.
They're an awful lot of fun. I've got about 40 years of them,
Mhm.
and they're just such interesting reading. You really can fall back into that headspace you were in, and it can be really revelatory. Yeah.
Yes. And Marjorie, I think, just came in and I was asking, I don't have any poetry to share tonight. So I was asking questions of everyone. And the question that was being asked, what was the question? Does anybody remember?
Well, you were talking about writing and what kind of writing we did when we started writing, and then the subject turned to journalism and journaling, and people started talking about their journaling.
Yes. And writing about hard things. What was hard to write about? And does when you write about something hard, or challenging, are you sometimes surprised by how you feel afterwards?
First of all, I'm sorry I had to join late. I had an appointment and I'm on Pacific Standard Time. Those are really good questions. And it's like, yes. Poetry has been a very interesting and it's been a healing journey, and it also has allowed my humor to come forward. And especially what's going on now, and my form of journaling right now is doodling, making myself do a daily ink sketch, and that's where it's like it's you have to be able to laugh, especially what is going on now with everything. And I think, joy is a form of resistance. And I mean, the open, I was so, the open mic blew me away last week. I'm new to this group, and I just really appreciate you guys. And I was like, yay! Even if I have to come in late, I'll see if I can make it. So.
Yeah,
I probably didn't answer all of your questions because there were a lot.
yeah.
And
I mean, but it's great to have community, I think. Oh, Elizabeth, a new person. I don't know if you heard any of that, but you can kind of pick any of those questions to talk about if you like, or not. Thank you, Marjorie.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi.
I think she heard, but I don't think she heard. But I think I want to get to the some of the other poets who want to read.
Okay.
But thank you. And if you want to read for the next round, definitely. If you want to pick something out, let us know. Heck, get one of those journals. But for the moment, I'd like to grab Jan Rowe if she is ready. There she is.
Hi. This is from June 30th, Black Seed Writers, the weekly, every Tuesday morning at Cathedral St. Paul, 138 Tremont across from Brewers Fountain. So this is called, this is a weekly, and then it becomes like a quarterly or something. The water is poisoned, part 3. And there I was, waving a death certificate from 1919, the Pennsylvania Bureau of Phytostatistics, very official. Since in part 2, published in April, I wrote about the grandson, John, 1907, 1940 something, of George Flint, who was born in 1858, England, 1899, not 1919, being killed in the coal mine. John was my Mima's youngest brother, next sibling in line. I thought I had it on AI. I used to call it A1. So I thought I had it because I was waving the no body death certificate for George Flint, 7/28/1919, issued by that place. So he was a blaster, born 1858 in England. He really did die 1899, Brazenell, 41. 2 days before Christmas, 15 died. The windows were shattered for a mile. The tipple blew over the railroad tracks. He probably had to buy his own blasting supplies at the company's store. So the reason for the 1919 death certificate, so they used to make the miners' widows wait 7 years for coal miners who were dead and couldn't retrieve their bodies or blown to smithereens until 1919, and then they didn't have to wait 7 years anymore to declare their spouse's death. Thank you. I'm so bright and cheery.
Suits the day. Suits the day. Let me see. Who do we have next? So let's go to John Wezick. The
Hi.
returning John Wezick. Hello.
Returning John Wessick. Yeah, so I have a new book out called Rants of a Cranky Old Man. Something to offend just about everybody. This is a found poem using the words of some of my least favorite people. And I hope it will serve as a kind of vaccination to alert the listener to a certain kind of rhetoric that maybe they ought to question. May I offer you a moral panic? fire hose of addictive content entering kids' eyes and ears, rewiring childhood on an unimaginable scale. Social media, video games, porn sink in their hooks. Hitler was a beginner compared to comic books. Batman stimulates homosexual fantasies with Robin standing legs spread, genitals evident, imposing sick values on our children. Gruesome video games, warriors ripping out hearts, heads, and spinal columns. Role-playing games, demonology, witchcraft, voodoo, murder, rape, blasphemy, perversion, satanic rituals, cannibalism and sadism, porn rock, profiteers, lyrics explicit, violent, and glorifying of drugs, marijuana, the real public enemy, violent, narcotic, unspeakable scourge, destroying youth with dangerous hallucinations, shocking violence, and incurable insanity, real rapes on film sold in the marketplace, women covered in filth, feces, blood, semen, sexual assault after death, tortured for viewers' pleasure, 5-year-olds sold to devil worshippers, witches chanting to summon the devil, human and animal sacrifices, sodomizing small children, teachers chopping up animals, clubbing a horse to death with a baseball bat, sacrificing a baby in church and making children drink the blood, dressing as witches, flying in the air, urinating in children's mouths, children thrown to sharks, follow the breadcrumbs to the ritual murder of Christian babies, their blood used for matzah and pizza dough, Western civilization at war, Islam's totalitarian way of life, searing our cultural fabric. We don't want the smoking gun to be a mushroom cloud. Spike-collared pit bulls tear at anyone in their path. Screaming passerby take cover on top of cars. Two enraged animals rampage through a supermarket before police shoot them dead. Bred for violence, pit bulls wreck neighborhoods as surely as prostitutes or drug dealers. They're eating dogs, they're eating cats. Boys fall prey to the dark hole of incel online contact, bullying, taunting with fatal consequences, while self-proclaimed involuntary celibates engage in misogynist discourses within the so-called manosphere. Pornographers' rights take precedent over parents, giving malevolent free rein to prey on our children. Walls keep God away from schools, but can't lock up pushers, thieves, and murderers. Criminal civil rights must end when an attack on our safety begins. The real wall of separation we need are prison walls. Dislodge traitors from every place they do their traitorous work. If we don't get back to God, he will judge America like Sodom and Gomorrah. The storm is coming. McCarthyism is Americanism with its sleeves rolled. There you go.
What's that Simpsons meme? Hey everyone, an old man is talking. Be sure to pick up John's latest collection, Old Man Yells at Cloud. Oh my, let's go to Mr. Robert Doodle Tuna Casserole, aka Robert Fleming. Check out his work in Oddball Magazine, or he might read it right now.
Thank you, Chad. Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming. I'm a visual poet and digital artist. And tonight, because it is 90 degrees where I live in Delaware, I thought I would bring out my skit about Batman and Robin. And John and Nina have volunteered to read the skit. But John and Nina, I want you to agree who's going to be Batman and who's going to be Robin.
What do you want, Nina?
Since I'm taller, I'll be Batman.
Okay.
So the characters are the superheroes Batman and Robin, and the location is the nudist colony. The first weather is sun, and the first line is by Robin.
Golly creepers, Batman, your pecker's redder than Joker's lips.
I left Solar King in the Batcave.
Burn no tights.
Mr. Byrne, Mr. Freeze's brother. Robin, help me Rash.
No, call Commissioner Gordon.
Ouch! Wham! Bum! Remember your superhero oath. Melt butter. Put it on my pecker.
Pecker, Riddler's partner.
You're a superhero. Get butter.
Butter in the Batcave.
Thank you. And now we have a change of weather to winter. So we have snow, but we're still at the nudist colony.
Holy freezer ray, Batman, your pecker shrunk mine too.
Outdoor recess.
Batgirl has more down there.
Batgirl. Recast. Trans girl.
Holy snow, Batman, trans girl's uncut.
Biff. Boff. Bam. Robin. Batman 2020.
Wow, old days. Robin and Batman, only bulges.
Our bulges will return.
When?
Outdoors ends 5 minutes.
Thank you. So you remember the song do 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 Batman.
Batman.
Thank you. That was two imaginations of Batman and Robin at the nudist colony with Nina as Batman and John as Robin.
Well, I just came out of my self-hypnotic trance. What happened there? Okay, I don't have to know. All right, let's good. Friggin' God. All right, let's go to our feature from last week. Not content to rest on those laurels of being last week's Stone Soup feature, she is here to take over the open mic. Let's give it up for Marjorie Pizzoli.
Well, I was trying to find one of my funnier ones after hearing that, but I can't find it fast enough because, like, I have tears in my eye from crying. So I have to. Oh, this is one of my more serious ones that I'm gonna try not to laugh. It's okay. Murmurations of Souls, and this came to me. I was walking my dog, and there was two huge cloud formations taking up the entire sky. One looked like when it was like just floating and a phoenix, and so this is what inspired that. The spread of her wings filled the sky. It is there she greeted the phoenix. Could it be a murmuration of souls that create these mighty cloud shapes? Each water droplet and essence of the ones we love all come together to send signs. Continued connections of the what ifs and the what was. More importantly, the what of the what is yet to be. To remember, never forget how our lives intertwined. To watch in awe how the wind shapes our perception of communication as the vapor parts go back into the blueness. So, I wish I could find my funnier one, but that's the one I could get fast. But oh my God, I loved your whole concept in a nudist colony. Oh my God, how brilliant.
It is, yeah, if you want, yeah, do what I did and just like blot it out of your memory. I'm not crying because of the sketch. I'm crying because of allergies. It's allergies. Yes, totally allergies. I know that Elizabeth Horan wanted to read a little later, so I want to bring up Mr. James Van Looy if he's available.
Hi, Chad.
Hello.
I've got a, this is one of my poems about learning to speak, or learning to read, actually, mostly Dutch. Netherlands taal, the language of the lowlands. My grootmoeders Nini's language is now a daily need, like coffee milk, sweetie drink in the morning in Detroit on Concord Street by the old Packard plant, which when built was a modern miracle of factory architecture. My dad, when we passed by on way to mom's folks' place in East Detroit off of Mack Avenue, would always comment on how strange it was to see it empty, silent, a shell that once encompassed so much highly organized assembly line labor. But I always like to hear them talk about meaning. And now listening to it daily, I realized I always wanted to learn it and took German in high school because it was as close to Dutch as they had. And I remember Carl, who was Nini's second husband, and with whom I was apparently fascinated because not once, but twice, I followed him off on his walks and got lost. But my dad and his brothers, the twins, and all their wives hated him because when she died, he sold everything she had and moved down to Florida for once for years. Each Christmas, he would send along a large crate of their oranges. Oh, they were so juicy and sweet. Lekker, like Nini's coffee milk. And I got a song here called Your Flag Decal Won't Get You Into Heaven Anymore. While digesting Reader's Digest in the back of the dirty bookstore, a plastic flag with gum on the back fell out on the floor. Well, I picked it up and I ran outside and slapped it on my windshield. And if I could see old Betsy Ross, I'd tell her how good I feel. But your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. They're already crowded from all those dirty little wars. Now, Jesus didn't like killing, no matter what reason for. Your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. Well, I went to the bank this morning and the cashier said to me, if you join the Christmas Club, we'll give you 10 of them clouds for free. Well, I didn't mess around a bit. I took him up on what he said and I stuck them stickers all over my car and on my wife's forehead. But your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. They're already overcrowded from that dirty little wars. Now Jesus don't like killing, no matter the reason for. Your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. Well, I got my window shilled, so fill up the flags I couldn't see. I ran the car upside a curb and right into a tree. By the time they got a doctor down, I was already dead. But I'll never understand why the man standing in the pearly gates said, your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. They're already overcrowded from your dirty little wars. Now Jesus don't like killing, no man, what the reason for. Your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. So that was John Prine, who's now passed. Thank you.
Thank you, James. And if Elizabeth Horan is available, I know she had to. I know she had to step away for a second. And if she's not back, I can do a reading. All right, let's see what I got. Do 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 do. All right, let's. Since she is still indisposed. All right. This one is a Stone Soup cartoon I did back in December 17th. This was the last one we did for the year. And it is called One Man's Aggressive Nirvana. And this is the one that I came up with after listening to everyone's workshop poems. This is for the first ever online workshop we did back on Wednesday, December 17th. One Man's Aggressive Nirvana. I have a black belt in karate and kareze. How's that for enlightenment? Who's your daddy? Whoever name you said is wrong. I'm your daddy now, understand? Let me cook a meal for you. I was not asking. Even my boxed pasta sends Ramsay crying. Debate me. I am a list of America's crimes. I'll, Debate me. I can list America's crimes alphabetically. Then I'll explain why we'll be acquitted again. I know how to drastically reduce your carbon foot. Just let me stick my hand down your throat. I'm not turning into a monster. You're turning. You're becoming small enough for me to crush. My best advice is never meet heroes and killers. Sometimes I'm both. Sometimes I'm neither. This is my good side. The other has good points too. Leave, die, or both. You're the traveler. I'm the wood. And with that, I am hoping that was enough to get Elizabeth Herend ready. See if she's ready to read. If she's not, we got.
Hi.
Oh, there you go.
I could if you just give me a couple minutes. Is there anyone else that can go before me or not?
Yeah, I didn't ask if Mary Jennings had changed her mind if she wanted to read or if she still wanted to be a listener.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough.
I can go upstairs and read real quick. Give me
I
one
will.
moment, please.
Oh, sure. Small intermission.
Chad, can you give us a quick report about the front?
The news to the front. I already did that this morning. I might be doing something else for Trump acolyte Trump appearance syndrome, or as I like to call it, tatas. But hopefully, you'll never believe who the next victim is.
Yeah, Groucho complained, we always get news from the fronts. When do we get news from the side?
There we go. Hope you don't mind if I slip out of these wet slacks and into a dry martini. Okay, let's. That must be a long flight of stairs. Elizabeth is very athletic. Or she's slow like me. Either way, it takes her time. Either way, I respect
She's
it.
climbing to the top of the Empire State Building and waving a flag.
There we.
It's her. She's walking the stairway to paradise.
She's about to do a proposal. Did you hear about that couple doing the proposal? They actually were at the top of the Empire State Building. That was today. Oh,
I
anyway,
can,
Elizabeth.
I'm here. Hello.
Hello.
If it pleases you, I'll read them.
Go for it.
I remember when my father left, you were the sun above. I stood by the woodpile, flimsy and 10. You bored arcs within my retinas, burned crisp my scoliotic spine with coronal mass ejections. I tried to shield my eyes. King Richard drove out of the driveway. Out of a second-story window, socks rained down upon the lawn. My mother, dressed up as a raving lunatic, throwing them down. When I think about divorce, I see my father's face. I squint dumb. I'm 10 years old again. I hold out a finger for a hula hoop ring. I think he could marry me if he will not love my mother. My Christian dream. I could be a yellow bride. Gingham paper he pasted my room with, cheating color. Moldy swirls and sepia traces of yellow wallpaper wainscoting tourniquet. Church is not as fun anymore, since it's me walking down the aisle toward him and he is giving me away into an adulthood in which I drink like a fish. My mother flies above, dragon mouth spits out, "How dare you, Richard?" Throws keys out of a raised ranch window, rotting L alcove. Preacher's mouth swallows itself whole, forked tongue, then both testaments, makes a wasp nest paste out of the psalm pages, paper machetes for female wombs. I am the fattened pig. Phallic lips in veins swell, pontificate till gilded red, slits a throat just below its purple head. Horned devil takes a turn, wants to know what she has witnessed, intrigued by the idea of consuming her, wants to see the child bride who is being married to her father, who blew out 9 candles, knowing she dared not shudder nor chew. These rings can tarnish young skin too. I also remember that day, Elizabeth. The dog, Biscuit, had been sprayed by a skunk. The woodpile rotten and full of hornets. A little girl, always in yellow, stands and stares at the sun like an idiot. I commanded you, look down at the ground, see my face upon it. I was the little ant with my head under your toe. I was the shimmering fabric of heat you felt along the fabric of your skin. I was your mother's dad, dead in the grave, so proud of you. I was your father's dad, who survived Normandy, but will not survive this. Carol, let's go find the light. You only saw a car driving away. So how about a thank you, Some recognition for what I did for you, for the way I blinded your eyes in order to spare you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to start round 2, so prepare a piece to read later at the end, Elizabeth. And thanks so much. I think this is your first time reading.
Yes, it is. Thank you for
Fantastic.
having
Well,
me.
well,
Thank
welcome.
you, Richard, for inviting me. It's wonderful to be here.
Very nice. I will start at the beginning as we did before, and we'll go right back to Richard Spizak as well.
You know, many of us view the cell phone as a mixed blessing at best. And we usually try to protect some shred of privacy, turning our phones off at night. But one night, I neglected to do so, and this is what happened exactly as I tell it. I got a call the other day from a charming chap who called out, "Hey, we'd like to secure your house and grounds. Have you researched it yet? What have you found?" "Oh, I haven't looked thus far," I said. "I haven't been too consumed, not consumed with dread." "We have a special deal this week," he said. "We have everything that you might seek. What kind of service interests you? Would you like a peek?" I replied to his inquiry. It literally leapt for me since I was intrigued, even inspired. See? So I replied to his inquiry, "Could we get some critters from the zoo? Perhaps a tiger or an ape or two. These might patrol and scare off intruders, like, say, maybe a pair of black-tip sharks, like from Bermuda, or a pack of wolves to patrol at night that'd scare off any burglars they'd take to their heels on a cloudless night. They very well might. Or a laser cannon might be nice, either AI or IR on automatic, right? Either way, to pierce or sever might be just the thing. It could be downright clever. Mounted high above on the roof, a 360 swivel. Tell the truth. Old Buck Rogers certainly had them. Maybe a minefield hidden on a sidewalk buried deep in the macadam. It wouldn't need always be fatal, but just a tad more dangerous than a spinning dreidel. What do you say? Link to X-ray scans? so we carefully detect whether it's woman or man. I'd really like a moat, of course. What would you charge for such a diggardly, dastardly resource? Complete with alligators or piranha. Either way, we'd need a bridge on them. A small contingent of guards would be needed to toss them in when it's time for feeding. I was thinking a new course of mines. Bouncy Betties might be just the thing. It would work out fine. We'd need a map of where they're placed, or you too might get a kiss from Pretty Betty right there where you used to have a face. Hey, could you supply a dozen heads on spikes? It would reduce intruders. It very well might. He sounded sheepish in his retort. He had something else in mind, of course. But before he could speak, I offered this as I reflected on Pretty Betty's bouncing bliss. A flock of peregrine falcons, perhaps, or a brace of eagles that could catch the updraft. That'd look quite regal. He interrupted and began quite nervously to laugh. And he faltered and started. We had in mind a doorbell camera that could show any person who appeared at your door, or like what have you, like a package there on the floor. Tied to an app installed on your phone, you could check around your house when you're away from home. Oh, downhearted, I had to ask, was this all he had at last? Well, he posed, they might put sensors on the window in case someone tried to climb in or break your glass. I gasped. No wildebeest, no roaming boars, no honking flonk of noisy swans, I implored. No moat, no laser-sighted guns. Oh, gosh, I said, you're just no fun. I already pay a team of orcs. They're a rowdy bunch, but they need the work. And I already have a team of pterodactyls on patrol. But you know how messy they are. They're out of control. Home security. 201.
There we go. There we go. Thank you, Richard. And who do we have next? I'm running out of light here. Did Nina have a poem for this round?
I have something that I recontextualized.
Sweet.
Does anybody remember the good old Nicene Council from 325 AD? Well, I've taken a stab at rewriting it in a more interesting to me way. So, the revised Nicene Council, Nicene Creed of 325. We believe in one Mommy, the Mother Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, and of all things visible and invisible, and in one Son of Mommy, the Son of the Goddess, the only begotten of the Mother, before all ages, light of light, true Goddess of true Goddess, begotten, not made, of one essence, with the Mother by whom all things were made, who for us and for our salvation came down from heaven and was incarnate of the Holy Spirit and the Virgin Mary and became human. And she was crucified for us under Pontius Pilate and suffered and was buried. And the third day she rose again according to the scriptures and ascended into heaven and sits at the right hand of the Mother. And she shall come again with glory to judge the living and the dead, whose queendom shall have no end, and in the Holy Spirit. But as for those who say there was when she was not, and before being born she was not, and that she came into existence out of nothing, or who assert that the Son of the Goddess is from a different hypostasis or substance, or is created, or is subject to the alteration or change, these the Catholic Church anathematizes. Following the Second Ecumenical Council in Constantinople in 381, the creed was further supplemented with the following. And we believe in the Holy Spirit, the Son, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Mother, who with the Mother and the Son together is worshipped and glorified, who spoke by the prophets, in one holy Catholic and apostolic church. I acknowledge one baptism for the remission of sins. I look for the resurrection of the dead and life of the world to come. And that's the rewritten Nicene Creed. That's the first draft. I am neither a Christian or a practitioner of any Abrahamic anything, so don't complain to me.
I like that. Thank you, Nina. And I believe Jan Rowe is up next, if she's available. She is, I think.
Well, I'm going to read this one because of what Richard said. It's called Redemption of Intrusive Phones. We get quotes sometimes in the Black Seed Writers, and this one was, "You can't stop the phone from ringing if there's no phone." Diana Katari. The redemption of phone cameras. The most recent flotilla with 400 to 500 people on 52 ships, participants from around the globe, were arrested. Zionists boarded the ships using rubber bullets. 2 prison boats were needed. Israeli deportees greeted with love in the USA. On ship, the cameras filmed we saw the already beaten club deportees being beaten again by uniformed men. Turned out those beatings and clubbings, the already injured people from Israel were employed by a former Mossad agent for $2 million to beat the beaten, to club the club, break some more ribs. The violence is coming to the U.S. You'll be next. In fact, the murders have started. Nicole Good, Alan Preddy, for instance. I can see why my godson got a gun. I put Q Marshall Tucker's Can't You See, or Jesse Got a Gun to lighten, the mood. Israel trained death squads in El Salvador and Guatemala. Israel trained NYPD, the New York police. They have a bureau in Tel Aviv for some reason. Zionists trained the Baltimore police. Remember Freddie Gray? With their wonderful training, the Baltimore police tossed handcuffed Freddie into the police van to bounce around and fracture his skull. I realized that was not all of it, and I had forgotten that. And then this is from June 9th, and Richard brought it to mind. Thank you. Ugh.
Thank you so much. And looks like we're going right back to Old Man Yelling at Cloud, Mr. John Wezick.
Remnants. On a hot Arizona morning, I park by mother's trailer to pack the remains of her life. Up the metal step, I turn a key in a sticky lock, slide the door open, and step into days of effort. Crammed in the claustrophobic space, the smell of sweat, papers on the kitchen table, green easy chair, brown couch, ripped seat by the phone, coffee cup, dried brack, sludge, pizza menus, magazines, old cough drops, crackers, packets of ketchup, mustard, Parmesan cheese. Fire up the AC, no room to organize until I throw stuff out. C. diff infection, food must go. Fruit, vegetables, bread, roast chicken, condiments, peanut butter, box of baking soda into the trash along with used Kleenex, dirty towels, lotion, shampoo, personal shaver, hairbrushes, bath mat, toilet scrubber, tacks, safety pins. Sweating, arms straining, I haul bulging garbage bags and heave them into the dumpster. Metal reverberates like a temple bell. Heard about your mom, the guy in a straw hat says. How's she doing? Back in the trailer, I sort papers into piles on the dirty carpet. Receipts, bills, legal documents, menus, coupons, catalogs, and ads in the trash. Mother's not gone, just less of her. Let her driver's license expire. Started watching Fox News. Stopped balancing her checkbook. Used to be so smart. I pack documents into 4 file boxes so I can manage her finances. Numbers less painful than people. By the time I carry trash paper to the dumpster, it's 20 degrees hotter. I break for lunch, return with a 6-pack and gallon of water, stand up boxes in the bedroom, tape the bottom flaps closed. The magic marker releases its chemical smell as I label each: shoes, bedding, garage sale, clothing. Pulling hangers from the crammed closet, I give each jacket, blouse, and skirt a cursory fold and drop it in the appropriate box. I pack with little sentiment. My bedridden mother will wear few of these clothes. They'll end up at Goodwill, where only 1% will sell, the rest thrown away, the only remnants of someone's life. Next day, I pack shoes, blankets, toaster, cards, games, and George Foreman grill. In a neglected drawer, the smooth painted stone I bought mother in New Zealand. Search Hokitika an entire afternoon to find it. The shop owner was South African. I brought mother gifts from all over the world: Chinese scroll, Van Gogh book from Amsterdam, teapot with an owl's face, Japan, Chile, Argentina, all graciously accepted and put away and forgotten. I pack her gifts with everything else, tape the flaps closed, and leave boxes for the movers. Some day, after a similar hundred sorting, someone will dispose of all I've struggled for. After taking books to the library, I lock the door and leave mother's trailer for the last time.
This was the style at the time. Let's have next, if he's awake, Mr. Robert Doodle Tuna Casserole Fleming.
Thank you, Chad. So I'm going to share an art submission that I made today. It is to the Delaware Contemporary Art Museum. It is in the northern county of Delaware, about 10 miles south of the start of the New Jersey border. I live in the most southern county of Delaware called Sussex. It's probably about 90 miles for me to go from where I live to the gallery. But I like the fact that the gallery has the word contemporary in it, and most of my art is modern and contemporary, so I'm hoping that there will be a fit. I'm just going to show you some of the elements that you have to include in a submission for art. The first one is your name and your email, and then your bio. This one didn't have a maximum word count for the bio. And then they asked for an artist statement. The first stanza is what I always include in all of my artist statements. And then the next 3 stanzas are specific to connecting the theme of the show to the works that I submitted. And I'll share some of those because they do share some personal information about me, which I may have not shared. For this United States tribute, I respond to hope for our nation in times of uncertainty, which my Statue of Liberty. I value liberty because I am a first genuine generation U.S. citizen who immigrated from Canada to leave the harsh winter weather, east-west country divide, and bleak employment opportunities due to 80% of the commerce leaving my Quebec birth province to the neighboring province, Ontario. For U.S. nation's contemporary issues, I share images of global warming and satellites. Born in 1963, in the 1970s, I watched on TV Star Trek, where the spaceship was sometimes able to repair a planet's atmosphere. I'm disappointed on Earth there's no media about laboratory ozone repair models and no media about physical attempts to repair actual ozone holes. For U.S. Story Through Complex Past, I share my belief in evolution, in Dino Liberty, tribute to U.S. industries, and past American presidents in Mount Rushmore. As a child, I liked the TV show The Flintstones, where the family had Dino, a pet dinosaur. I repeatedly asked my parents for a pet dinosaur, with their response, plastic dinosaurs and a dinosaur nightlight, bedspread, and PJs. So now I'll share, this is the last element of the submission, which is they want a listing which includes the title, the date that you created it, the media, and the dimensions, which is length times width in inches if it's a 2D work. And I'll share some of the work. So this is my Statue of Liberty. It's created with a filter called Tracer, which makes your image between white and black. And here we have an ozone hole, which is being filled with Elmer's glue. And then this is called Broken Promise, an ozone hole over a rainbow. And here we have an image of the Chinese satellite, which I applied a filter to make the light red. The original lighting was white. And then this is more of a surrealistic image of a satellite. It's called the Starshield satellite. And this is my my Dino Liberty. The dinosaur heads are made different colors using a filter called Color Mix. And this cross out of words evolve extinct. Originally I saw that in an art piece done by Basquiat. Here is a visual poem, The Gold Ghosts, the Town Goes, and this is called After the Gold Rush in Dawson City, Yukon, 1900. And this is my tractor smudge, tribute to American farming and industry. And then this is a tractor wobble, another surrealistic. And here is my Mount Rushmore, which is done in voxel art, which makes your images look like Lego. Thank you for letting me share my submission, and I should hear by July 15th if I will be in the show or not.
Good luck. Up next, I'd like to bring up back Marjorie if she's willing.
Sure. So I'll share with you. This is one of my daily doodles. I did this in March, and I just started with the person, and I never know what I'm gonna do. And because you brought up Star Trek, this is why I'm sharing this one. Current Borg, teenage years, undressing us. And then I have a short poem. And I'm sure you know what that refers to. Because I can, I touch the sky, hold it out of sight, past clouds and micrograms, Leaves swirl into paisley thoughts, becomes a mattress to sink into. Birds rest in my hands. Roots tap into the awareness of worms. Aquifers rise to meet vernal pools. Soon the frogs will have their say. Nothingness becomes something. Something becomes everyone. We don't remember why.
Thanks. Thanks, Marjorie, and thanks for coming back this week. I have up next, it looks like James Van Loy is next. Oh, did we freeze?
They look frozen.
They look very frozen. I've never quite seen that before. That's very weird. Oh, I think they're coming back. Jan, James, if you're able to catch up to our words, it's if James wants to read, you might want to move the laptop because it seems like you have a weak connection.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, here
Okay,
we go.
so I got something here. This is called this is inspired by Nina. It's called Trinity Goes Quaternity, and actually, there's one of my this is actually a labyrinth design here. Let me see if I can actually get this to come into view. Yeah, there we go. Okay. It's called Trinity Goes Quaternity. So here's the poem. Trinity Goes Quaternity number 2. I was just a child. I was just a child when the Holy Mother ascended to the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghostess, but way out in right field, hoping no one would slice one my way, I saw her rising over the Lutheran Church, although I thought it should have been St. James, where the Virgin Mary knelt and wait for levity to take her up like dark matter in fields of swirling, whirling, circling dark energy, while down on a baseball diamond we were playing hardball with the bullies, bat in hand at the plate, and with everything ordained from above. Well, yet from below, we, or at least me, knew something else was real. So somebody else was out there. And I could just see her slowly and steady, rising up in this crystal blue summer sky. I never saw that way before until this ball came suddenly with a crack of a bat hurtling down towards completely unprepared. And here's a quick song. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Rock my soul in the bosom of Abraham. Oh, rock my soul so high you can't get over it, so low you can't get under it, so wide you can't get round it. Oh, rock my soul, rock my soul, rock my soul, rock my soul, oh, rock my soul. Thank you.
Thank you, James. And looks like Elizabeth Horan had to leave. So to close us out tonight, I propose we have our late entry, Mr. Jacob Moses. Take a little extra time if you'd like, because you missed the first round.
Thank you so much. I have one that was published in this anthology, the National and International Goddess Anthology 2026, put out by National Beat Poetry Foundation's New Generation Beats and publications. A little background on this piece. It's called Some Restrictions Apply. The original title was All Lives Matter, but some restrictions apply. I originally wrote this about my son, but my son is now my daughter. She is trans. And so I wound up changing the names and the gender pronouns in this. When you look at my daughter, what do you see? Do you see her artistic talent? Do you see anime so vivid that looking into her eyes would give you seizures? Do you see humor that would make Robin Williams laugh so hard in heaven he'd say the devil made him do it? Would you see her eccentricities woven together to create a patchwork of brilliance? Would you see her lead like Leo, invent like Donnie, rebel like Raph, or demolish an entire pizza like Mikey? Would you know about her debates like who's cooler, Mario or Sonic? Would you play her in Mortal Kombat knowing beforehand that she knows every fatality in the book and always uses them? Would you see her as a perfect blend of Russian, German, Belgian, South African, Polish, Jamaican, Irish, Arawak, Igbo, Yoruba, and Sierra Leonean? Oh. You see her as just a black kid. And she's a thug? And I'm a bad parent? Okay, next set of questions. You see her as just a black kid, and she's a thug, and I'm a bad parent. So, are you calling her a thug because she's black? Are you calling me a bad parent because she's black? Would you assume she's from the hood? Would you assume her artistic talent involves coarsely painting her name on brick walls? Would you see her as fitting a police profile? Would you see her as a broken window? Would you see her lie somewhere in the valleys of an intellectual bell curve? Would you assume she shoplifts? Would you assume she robs liquor stores? Would you assume she sells drugs? Would you comply if the police attacking her was justified, even if she complied? Would the PBA neglect that my daughter is a human being? Would Rudy Giuliani go on Fox News defaming my daughter's character if, God forbid, she fell victim to any kind of brutality? And would you even care? How dare you call me a bad parent? How dare you call my daughter a thug, you racist motherfucker? Keep your cool, Jacob. Keep your cool. Breathe. Okay. You clearly don't see what I see in Trish. But I think you might have that chance if you stop talking, if you looked into her eyes and you listen to her words and you repeat these steps with everybody you meet, and maybe then, lady, maybe then all lives will matter. Poem.
Very nice, Jacob. Do you have one more? Do you think you have one more?
Yeah, I think I have one more. I heard the analogy of touching the sky before, and so I'm going to do this piece called Touching the Sky. Sunrises on Saturday mornings before networks had 24-hour programming are vast memories. Sense of light and color from the test pattern. Darkness eradicated at the age of 4. Infomercials with Richard Simmons outlined weight loss fallacies, crash diets, laxatives, vomiting, starve for a sense of belonging, excretion of identity, purging taboos of the psychic and psychotic. And then the colors of deal meal cards ease that need to nourish my spirit, quenching my thirst for love and wisdom. And in the morning, I had no rooster to wake me. It was Tootie from the Home Shopping Club who woke me. Gold and emeralds eased my chaos adoration, adorned and fever-fueled. Perceptions of color often defined through ColecoVision, Atari, Commodore. Low fidelity, higher contrast from reruns of I Love Lucy, The Twilight Zone, and The Honeymooners, and I craved boldness in those 8-bit rainbow skylines, stunning justice. 16 colors aren't enough. Impossible to fill in a 24-hour day with such restrictions, and I observe the sky through filters, none of which distort reality, but simply accentuate the vividness of heaven. And often I reminisce of 1985, the first time I had a numerical concept of a year, 4 years after my birth, 30 years prior to my father's passing. But these days, my eyes are hexadecimal algorithms Pantone has yet to develop, and my vision is HDMI. Pupils are my perspective, darkness, the onyx observation of loneliness and loss, my insatiable need to find a place within this infinite spectrum, my unfulfilled desire to belong. The wheel of fortune spins. Luck is pressed. Come on, big money, big money, big money, big bucks, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, stop! Pink hearts, orange stars, yellow moons, green clovers, blue diamonds, purple horseshoes, red balloons, pots of gold, rainbows, trees, blue moons, leprechaun hats, gold coins, shooting stars, crystal balls, hourglasses, keys. These are the talisman of morning magic, ambrosia of oats and marshmallows soaked in milk. But my lucky charms are my rods and cones. They allow me to admire these radiant symbols. All my photos evolved from mud, and this new set of colors is presently paradise, my heaven, my sky, my ether. Perhaps it demonstrates the incorporation of color destined to reach out. Perhaps it's friendlier than the earth upon which I stand. Perhaps I crave that which is limitless. For skies are not ceilings. The outside world is unconfined. My aura showcases skylines. Poem. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jacob. And thanks to everyone who came out tonight to take part in the round robin. Repeating this again for the cheap seats. I'm going to be out. I'm going to be off line, at least for Stone, as far as Stone Soup is concerned next week. I'm not going to be having a Stone Soup, but we will return on the 15th to welcome Stone Soup regular Marianne Honecker, who has yet another book out that she's promoting. And then on the 22nd, we welcome Mark Goldfinger, who is taking time out of a busy schedule, being poetry ambassador for the Spare Change News to give us a well-awaited feature. I think he's one of the few Stone Soup veterans I have not been able to get on a Zoom call, so it'll be very good to have this done. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully we'll have more features announced for August and September coming up. I'll have some time to do that next week. Check out Stone Soup's Facebook page. I have put up some new submission opportunities for July 1st. Some are good until July 15th, others till July 30th. Molecule Magazine I think is the one ending soonest on the 15th. Give them a shout out, and some of us have been in that already. And stay tuned for more news. And until then, we give the obligatory wave. And I thank all of you for coming over tonight, and hope you guys are keeping cool this summer from hell. Stay safe, please. This weekend, it's going to be kind of a crazy one. I can see, but I will hope to see as many of you as possible in 2 weeks for the features. I'll hopefully be also announcing the final feature for July and moving on to August. And I already have one of the September features up as well, and more announcements to come. So thank you guys very much. Have a great night, or as I like to say, the show's over. See you next time. Night, night.